All right, moving on. Number 18. Let me just throw this in here. We all talk about this era of wrestling and what this company did to bring wrestling a whole new life. I think this person gets way lost in the shuffle. I cannot put this person obviously much higher than this, but I got to throw a wrench in here with number 18. I got to go with Francine. So anybody who knows my background here, I did have a hand with helping one of the promoters with E.C.W. From the time Jerry Lawler showed up at the E.C.W. arena until the doors closed, I was at every single show except for one. So I saw half of that era. So I'm a little bit of attached to the E.C.W. managers not getting their due. But, there's me dressed up as Sabu at the arena. Yeah, anyway.
Nice.
So I was that guy for 2 or 3 years. So yeah, I'm all over the place. But let me just bring up though, Francine wasn't. We're going into the era of the diva, and then the divas came more wrestlers when that was great. But Francine weighed nothing, and she was getting super bombs through tables by the pit bulls. She was with Shane Douglas, we all know. She was with Tommy Dreamer. She was the queen of Extreme, literally the entire career. That's basically her entire career. Like stamped, like hi, I was the queen of E.C.W. I literally watched Francine perform over 100 times in the ring easily. I mean, I was there about good 4 or 5 years, so I saw her. So she worked her butt off. She was great. She was a company person. She was Paul, that was her main girl, the head cheerleader. I just think Francine is never talked about as a manager at Valet enough. So I don't know either one of yours history and what your attachment is to ECW, but my pick at 18 here is Francine. Matt.
Were you at I want to say it was Central PA. Were you at the show where she actually got the better of Bubba Ray Dudley?
Is that when she beat up all the Dudleys?
Yes.
Yeah, she beat up even Big Dick and all that. Yeah. I mean, that was, yeah. I remember.
I'm still 25 years later, I'm still trying to find footage of it.
Yeah, you know what's funny? She has a podcast, and she got.
Oh, I listen. I was up here.
Someone asked that question. I think Bubba was actually on. They said, "Were you guys mad that you got beat up by a girl?" They're like, "No, she was the queen of Extreme." Paul put faith. That night, it was time for her to rise. So,
Francine was the quote unquote original diva. She transcended from the Miss Elizabeth, very classy, girl next door type, to that 2000s diva, TLC, lingerie matches, stuff like that. She was that important, very important middle point. Without Francine, we would have probably not my favorite time for women's wrestling, but we would not have that whole time period. She absolutely deserves to be on this list.
She was there first. It's good wording. Yeah, she was kind of there first before what you see now.
Yep.
Matt, your thoughts?
I was kind of behind the curveball when ECW was hitting the big back in the day. But what I do remember was I used to work at a casino in Connecticut in the late 90s, and on Saturday nights they'd show the ECWs on this old cable channel when I was working, and I'd sit there and watch them like for an hour at a time come out and do their thing. And I was just amazed by what they were doing, but I was also amazed by just the presence that she held. Mm-hmm. And, for manager, okay, you can call it that, but you know what? She had some weight. You can look back at that in the late 90s and say she was absolutely, let's face it, Shane Douglas called them the franchise. She was part of the franchise. She was that big back in the day.
She managed
huge, man.
And then even into the end with Just Incredible. Like she
absolutely
managed every champion. She was like, the best manager of the company in a short, strong 8-year run there. So Sweet.
In
Awesome.
in any art, they talk about that it factor.
Yep.
Nobody could explain it. It's just your eyes have to focus here. Your ears have to, peek up a little bit when certain people speak, certain people are around. She did nothing to take away from the match as far as you have to watch her. I mean, obviously her looks were there, but her mannerisms, her body language, her timing for where she was at all times, she was that perfect highlight.